In a quiet desert town, two siblings, Zubair and Samia, lived a simple but hard-working life. Their parents owned a small piece of land where they grew vegetables, and every morning Zubair and Samia would help pick the fresh produce and carry it across the dusty paths to sell in the market of a nearby town. They didn't have much, but their hearts were full of gratitude. Their mother would often say, "With your trust in Allah, and He will always guide you, even through the desert." One particularly scorching day, the sun blazed without mercy. The sand shimmered like fire under their feet as they walked, sweat trickling down their faces. Midway through their journey, Zubair suddenly stopped. "Oh no," he said, patting his satchel. "We forgot the water bottle." Samia gasped. "We won't make it in this heat." They looked around. Dry land stretched endlessly and no shade in sight. They sat under a thorny bush, exhausted and thirsty, their lips dry. Just as Samia closed her eyes in frustration, she noticed something in the distance, a low stone wall barely visible above the sand dunes. "Zubair, is that a well?" They rushed toward it, with hope fluttering in their chests. Sure enough, it was a small old well nestled between two rocks. Zubair pulled up the rope and bucket, and the sound of sloshing water brought tears to their eyes. They thanked Allah, drank deeply, and washed their faces in relief. But as they packed up to leave, they heard the faint panting of an animal. They turned to see a dog, limping slowly toward the well, tongue hanging, eyes desperate for water. Samia gasped, "It's so thirsty, just like we were." Zubair looked at the nearly empty bucket. "Should we give it the rest of the water?" "Of course," Samia said. "Remember the hadith? The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said a man was forgiven by Allah for giving water to a thirsty dog." Zubair filled the bucket one last time and gently poured the water into a shallow spot on the ground. The dog lapped it up eagerly. Its tail wagged, and it looked at them with grateful eyes. Samia knelt down and stroked its back. "You're welcome, friend." The dog quietly turned and disappeared into the desert. Zubair wiped his forehead. "I think Allah sent us here not just for ourselves, but for him too." Samia smiled. "Mama always says kindness comes back somehow." They tightened their baskets and continued walking. The sun still burned, but their hearts felt light. They talked, laughed, and even hummed a little nasheed to keep themselves going. By the time they reached the market, they were tired but cheerful. They found a spot to set up their stall and began the day by thanking Allah. After a long day at the market, with their baskets now empty and pockets full of earned coins, the siblings started the journey home. But as the sun dipped behind the dunes and shadows stretched across the sand, they heard the crunch of footsteps, then saw three figures emerge from behind the rocks. "Hand over your money," one growled. Zubair shielded Samia. "Please don't hurt us." Samia's heart raced. With trembling hands, she whispered a dua. "Ya Allah, protect us in this moment of fear. You are our only guardian." Suddenly, a furious barking shattered the silence. The dog from the well leapt out of a nearby bush, growling and snarling at the bandits. Startled, the men shouted and stumbled backward, clearly afraid. "Let's go! It's a wild desert dog!" one yelled as they ran off into the night. Zubair and Samia stood frozen. The dog came over, its tail wagging as it sat by their side. Samia fell to her knees and hugged it. "It's him! He saved us!" Zubair smiled in awe. "Allah sent him to us because we showed kindness." From that day forward, the dog followed them on every journey, guarding them, playing with them, and becoming their loyal companion. If you'd like more stories that light up the heart with Islamic values and timeless lessons, don't forget to subscribe to Guided Hearts. Every week, we share inspiring tales to help families grow closer to Allah, one story at a time.